The following is an original audio series from Sierra International Machinery, Pile of Scrap, with your host, John Sacco.
Well, hello again, live from ISRI 2023. Well, live recorded, I guess. This year, I have the honor of having the brothers Adams. I had them last year, but this is a little different twist. You're George's kids. Three brothers here. We got Kurtis, Kalvin, Tyler. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, on. All right. You're the older brother. I got to ask the younger brothers. We're going to start this off right. Growing up, was he a bully or did he use you two as a crash test dummy? Which one was it?
I think it's a combination of both.
Definitely the crash test dummy. You know, Kurtis was always the one, hey, you guys should go do this. And, you know,
You would
trial by error. Yeah, you'd have to do it, you know.
I was just the little brother that always wanted to be with the bigger brothers. So
Okay. I love your hair, Kalvin. I got to be honest with you. I wish I could have hair like that. I don't think you get to my collar.
living in Nashville, so
You're living the dream.
there you go.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. It's pile of scrap. Yeah, lot so much about the recycled materials industry. Great. But you know what? You guys, your brothers, our families know each other. Where we were joking before we came on here that my daughter might be a bigger instigator than my nephew, little Phil, on all this. Which one is it? Who's the worst? And then there's John Carlo, who you almost killed in Africa by over drinking him.
No, that was his fault.
So who's worse, Giovanna or little Phil?
I'll go with little Phil.
Definitely little Phil. But
Yeah.
they have a way of triaging you, right?
Yeah.
One of them's, encouraging you on this side, and the other one's causing trouble on this side, and, you're getting tag teamed by the Saccos over here.
Oh, and if you don't think I've been tag teamed by the Adams, you got another thing coming. We have a new saying about your dad. You go to lunch with him, and he's getting the Montrachet, right? Well, you know what waterboarding is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's Montracheting boarding you at lunch. And so now that you're crippled, then you go into dinner, and now he's bringing out the Brunello or Bordeaux, so he's Brunello boarding you. And it's just like, just like, we call him the oligarch. Oligarch rule number 14. Cripple your competitor with alcohol or something like that. I don't know. All right, so big company, 100. You guys should have a meter on your chest, how many yards you are, because it's like it changes like the national debt. What are you guys at now?
Well, Tyler would have to
131?
change it every morning.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's hourly. You should have it on a hat, something. What are we up to now?
I think 130.
All right, break me down the duties of the three brothers. Who's doing what in the company? Start with you.
So I'm the chief operating officer, so I oversee all of the operations, obviously. And
I'm a regional manager out here on the East Coast, so help out in Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, little bits of Kentucky and Florida as well. So
Kurtis?
And I run one of our yards in Southern California in Santa Ana.
Okay, in all fairness, you run just one yard, but you also have another business. Tell us about that.
So I run another business. We sell blood tests directly to consumers through LabCorp and Quest, and we have contracts with doctors, and so basically I'm not trying to do a plug or anything like that right now. But anyway, so I have
Tell us about it.
walkinlab.com.
Yeah.
But if I wanted one.
Yeah, if you needed one. No, so we have 20 employees. They're all based out of Louisiana. I'm actually flying from here directly to Louisiana for my crawfish boil with them. So ISRI crawfish boil, it all works.
All right, so you have three kids, just a newborn. You have one on the way, and you have one or 2 years old?
It's her birthday yesterday. Or no, 2 days ago was her birthday.
1 year old or 2 year old?
1 year old.
1 year old. So, all right, guys, now you're having to balance this incredible business. Now you got family. You got one on the way. It's not here yet. Challenges, huh?
a lot of challenges, for sure.
So you're trying to find, and see, I think that's the equilibrium, trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have 1 yard, 2 yards, 5 yards, 130 something yards. That's not easy, Mr. COO. So what? In all fairness, in all honesty, with this challenge, how are you coming up with a solution for you to be a father, a husband, and a brother to in the businessman that you are?
Yeah, it's about people, right? And ultimately, the business is about having the best talent and people around you. The same is true at home, right? My wife's amazing. She's a saint, and she holds down the fort, and, you know, she's an incredible mom, and she's what allows me to do everything that I do, you know, so no different than your family and so forth. So very blessed in that regard. And
how many days a month are you on the road?
So it slowed down a lot. You know, obviously my son was born in September, so I took a little hiatus from traveling, but I try to keep it to about a trip a month. You know, so maybe one trip a month right now.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. So
what about you, Kalvin? How much are you on the road? You're here in Nashville, and you got a pretty big region.
Yeah, for the past 5 years, I've definitely been a road warrior. I've lived in like 5 different cities up and down Alabama, Tennessee, started in Tucson, but 50% I'm traveling to other yards. But we are moving back to California next Monday.
Oh my God, it's Monday.
It's coming up, and so
who's going to replace you out here?
Well, I think Tyler said it best. I mean, it's the people. You know, I've been a bit of a region builder for the past couple of years, and the people that are running the region they've got it all under control, and so we're in good hands.
And Kurtis, you just run the 1 yard.
I'm just there in SoCal.
But you're happy with it. That you didn't need to have the region. You're happy with what you're doing. And I think that's important. Happiness is more important than anything. It's the first foremost thing I tell my kids. I tell Giovanna and Giancarlo every day, chase happiness. And you're happy.
Oh, it's all true. You know, it's funny because I grew up walking these convention halls, obviously, whether it's in Vegas or here, and you meet so many brothers or family that, oh, well, I'm suing him, and this happened, and it's so great to be part of a story that we're all friends. I mean, we text each other every single day, and so for me to run the yard was more about being with my brothers and part of the family business, and I have my cake and I eat it too.
That's outstanding. All right. So your younger brother, he's not here because he's not in the business, Jordan.
Yeah.
Young Jordan, we were sharing pictures last night when we met President Clinton
at
ISRI in 2009 Las Vegas. Jordan's this big. And now here he is. And so he's not in the family business yet. Just graduated school. What do you brothers tell Jordan? Because is he like, do I have to? Do I want to? There's got to be a level of expectation. So tell us about what you're telling Jordan right now. Go ahead. You start.
You know,
well, I got to hear now.
This is good, right?
Right.
I guess the bottom line is that you don't really push him one way or another, right? Like you said, he's got to find whatever he wants to do. I think it's challenging in a family business, right? You've got a stereotype to overcome anytime you enter into a family business, right? The bar is set high. You know, you need to earn the responsibility that you have within the company. You got to start from the bottom. We all started from the bottom. And, you know, I think Jordan's, to be honest, I think he's going to have a hard time finding the niche within the business. And, but he's got to decide which path he wants and whether he even wants to be in the scrap business, you know?
So what does he say to you?
Yeah.
What does he say to you? Go ahead, you can pull the microphone back up.
I mean, currently I believe he wants to try out real estate, and so that's what he's saying right now. And look, we just want him to do whatever's going to make him happy and whatever he'll be successful at. So no pressure at all.
Kurtis, what does Jordan say to you?
Well, the problem is Tyler sets and Kalvin sets a really high bar, okay? So you can't just jump in. And I mean, these guys are all-stars. But it's funny, I'm sleeping in Jordan's room right now. So even if he doesn't want to be part of the family business, he's part of the family business. I have to crash in his hotel room because they lost mine. But I think that no matter what he does, he's going to be a part of it. And whatever way he chooses or decides to do, he'll find a way. He'll be super excited and happy.
Well, he's a great kid. You know, I mean, look, our families, we've traveled the world together. So let's talk about that for a second, because we've been in Istanbul together. We've been in Italy together. We've been in Africa together, China together. What was the favorite? Oh, St. Bart's together. What was the favorite trip to you?
Africa. I mean, it just doesn't even. I can't wait. I need to work a little harder and make a little more money, but I can't wait to take my daughter to Africa. That was the funnest trip I've ever taken in my life.
By far the most fun I've had with all of our families was Africa.
And it was great. Tyler
wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to go to Africa, no.
Weren't you just getting ready to have a baby or just had a baby?
No, my son was born, I think, the month before Africa, so I had to bail on the Africa trip. But Slash, you guys didn't invite me. I don't know, one of the two.
It was the latter.
I took your place, dude. I get the call from your dad. Hey, Johnny, what? Would you be interested in going to Africa? And I'm like, yeah, but let me call the family. So I called Giovanna first. George called me. He wants to know if you want to go to Africa this summer. Hell yeah, let's go. I'm like, all right on. Giancarlo, call Giancarlo next. Giancarlo, Mr. Adams wants to know if you want to go to Africa. Well, I don't know. I mean, am I going to miss any of my football practice? I go, 9 days. Well, I don't know. You're on hold. Call Monica. Monica, you want to go? Is Joni going? I go, Monica, it's a first class comment. Okay, I'm in. And you didn't get to go. Were you
All good.
So which one of the trips, you've been to the other, which one was your favorite one?
I think probably St. Bart's.
St. Bart's was the man.
It was great, yeah.
I love St. Bart's.
Yeah.
That was, what a great place. I can't wait. I actually want to go back. If all the place, I want to do Africa again. Maybe go to Tanzania and see the wildebeest migration.
Yeah.
But I was talking. You know what place I think would be cool for all of us to go again would be Israel. What do you guys think about that?
Love
To go
it.
where?
Never been.
Israel.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been.
I've never been either.
No, never been.
Well, maybe we got to get that on the agenda for the families. We got to go to Israel.
You control the calendar, make it happen. Well,
Now, by the time we go to Israel, you'll be up to like 180, 185 yards. I'll be curious to how do we get all of you guys together. Now, think about it. You guys don't fly on the same plane together because my brother and I don't fly on the same plane. You guys fly on...
We have.
We try
We
not
try
to.
not
but
to.
generally, yeah.
Yeah, it's a general... Well, you won't... Nobody flies with your dad. Is that right?
Well, we have enough boys. Like, two of us can fly together, you know.
Okay, so you can... Well, I tell you, Dad, you're running out of boys to run your operation, man. And now you guys are out there. They're going to be a little while before they're up and ready to come into, into SA. All right, so let's talk about the business for a second. And your incredible growth and your foresight. You got all these operations, and what's next? Not so much who you buy next, but what's next for SA? Where do you guys go from here, Tyler?
You know, we have an insatiable appetite for scrap yards. So, you know.
Metal recycling yards.
Sorry. Yeah, we don't use that word anymore. Metal recycling yards. And look, I think we still have a lot of work to do, you know, on that front. We obviously we're very ambitious when it comes to acquiring yards. A lot of the yards that we acquire, they need a lot of work, and so we're still metabolizing a lot of the recent yards that we picked up. But the thing is, we have so many talented people, and you know, I've never been more proud of our management team. We have so much bandwidth at the management level that, you know, whether we're buying a yard in Florida or buying a yard in California or buying a yard in Texas, we can metabolize them because there's different people that are going to help integrate them and manage them. That, you know, people are hungry, you know, so I got to keep feeding them.
There you
go. So.
What's your vision? What do you think? Where you know, look, he says you're you know, the company you guys have acquired and you're still on that track. But where do you see, Kalvin? What do you see? What could be new and different for?
Could be a bit of a boring answer, but I'm a bit of a nerd, and so some of the stuff we're doing on the data analytics side and our reporting tools to give our managers the best tools that they can have to run their business is really exciting. I mean, if you look at some of the way we were reporting things 5 years ago to what we're doing now, it makes us all that more powerful, and it gives us a little extra bandwidth to continue buying yards. And so that's one of my favorite things that we're doing right now.
Now, I know you got the 1 yard, but as you step back a little bit, or you step back and you watch your brothers, you know, doing what they're doing, and you said they're rock stars, and I would agree with you. What do you see would be something you would say to them, hey, have we thought about this?
Well, listen, I wouldn't be teaching them anything, but I think that going forward, I think there's going to be some vertical integration going on in our business. And I think, to touch on what Kalvin said, using the data and the analytics that we have now to really, you know, get an edge over competitors, I think we're doing great things with it, and I think we're going to continue to do it. But I think vertical integration and, you know, I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not say, but,
well,
you know.
We all, you know, vertical could be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Vertical integration can mean, you know,
So
just
big
keep it-
picture, just like even if I'm not part of the business, just looking at it from economies of scale, I think that, things like that will happen in our business.
What
If I
about
could ju-
international?
If I could just touch on,
Yeah,
I'll
go ahead,
touch a little
please.
bit more on what Kalvin said. Everything we do is about scalability, right? And
Okay.
you need people to scale, but you need systems to scale. We do everything from the ground up, right? And so much of what we're trying to implement, whether it's systems or data or everything, is about giving our people the best tools to make the best decisions, right? I don't make all those decisions at my level or his level. We need to empower our people to make those decisions themselves. That's what allows us to grow. And so people ask us all the time, like, how do you run so many yards? We actually don't even really run them, right? Our people run them.
Right.
And they have the authority to make those decisions, the authority to, make as much money for the business and for themselves as possible. And that's what allows us to scale.
Tyler calls it, our machine, and we take care of accounting, payroll, legal, EHS on a big picture scale, and our managers just need to manage a scrapyard. That's what they're good at.
Recycled materials. Yeah.
Recycled materials yard.
You handle recycled iron, recycled copper.
Exactly.
Just saying.
I'm sorry.
And
Still-
all those people are bonused at the yard level with how much money they make, so they're all incentivized.
So they're all incentivized to do great things, and I think that is awesome. So, international. Can you comfortably expand beyond the American borders with all that you've got in place, but all the different rules and regulations and laws from different countries, especially employment, etc.? You have an appetite for that?
I wouldn't say there's not an appetite, but there's so much opportunity domestically.
Yeah.
We got a lot more states. I think we got 35 more states to go into before we start looking outside the borders, right? So I don't see us moving international when I still think there's so much potential for us to grow domestically.
Well, I can relate to that because Sierra, look, we're a manufacturer of equipment, and we really concentrate North and South America. We don't have the production capacity at our factory to go to Europe,
Yeah.
to go to Southeast Asia, because our order books are full and they keep growing for here. Even though we've expanded 96,000 square feet of manufacturing, we got to concentrate on here because this is where it's being made right now. So I can relate to what you said. So all right, your dad, he's an animal, and he obviously gave you guys all that gene. But tell me a thing, a deal, or idea that he had that you said, nah, I ain't gonna work, but it turned out it worked. You all have to have something there, because your dad is like, I heard it all the time from him. So give me something he had the idea that you thought, and then it worked.
Man, that's tough.
We're building this plant in Nashville.
Okay.
And we're looking at the layout, and I mean, there's magnet after magnet after magnet, and I mean, it's a little ridiculous how many magnets are on this plant. I was like, Dad, there's no reason to go overboard on all these magnets. We're gonna get the metal out beforehand. And sure enough, the very last magnet on that line is still pulling a lot of ferrous out. And it's just, he's got this engineering vision, and his favorite thing to do is hang out on our downstreams and non-ferrous plants, and he's always right when it comes to his plants. I gotta say that, even
That's
if
awesome.
I'm skeptical.
He's a magnet for good ideas, man.
Oh, no pun intended.
No, I didn't- I don't-
We're gonna edit that one out. Just
Yeah,
to
get
save
that
your
out.
face.
That's too much.
True. Let's edit that one out, please. Tyler, come up with something.
All right, so I think there's always a debate, right, in which companies we acquire and which targets we like, and sometimes I'm pitching a deal, sometimes he's pitching a deal, and I won't get into details, but there's been times where he wants to buy a yard, and I'm thinking this yard's not going to be good, right? We should not touch this business, and we all kind of vote on it, we debate on it, and eventually we'll come to consensus. The reality is that we really don't ever do anything unless we all agree. But there have been times where I don't think it's a good idea, and then we go ahead and this one yard in particular, and yard's a home run, right? It's been an amazing deal, amazing acquisition for us, and
Well, I'm still waiting for my commission for all these yards you bought that I've given to you guys. But oh well.
it's in the mail. It's in the mail, Johnny.
But it's kind of interesting. But I'll never forget. Your dad called me. You just acquired your Southern Pompano, your yards in Florida. You just got in there. And so he was down there, and he's all excited, and he sends me a text. He goes, how long does it take to get a cylinder for an RB6000? I go, how many you want? He goes, funny, how long does it take? I go, dude, how many you want? I got them in stock. And then he sends this, really? Yeah, really. So, it's fun. I mean, your dad gets so excited when you guys bought PSC. I mean, I was literally having to pull him down. He was on cloud nine. The dude was the most excited I have ever seen him. And God bless him, and God bless you guys. You guys, you are a real family that is stuck together, and you have your marching orders to improve and do all the things that you have. And I think what's awesome is that I see you three brothers, and you do get along, and you are each other's best friends. Although I don't know who was it who almost killed you on the ski slope, saying you need to take that. Who was that? Is that you, Kurtis? Yeah, that's what I thought. But, I think it's great. I think your story is awesome, not because of the success of SA, but the success of your family. Because the family unit that stays together like you have, it's immeasurable of all the goals and all the things you guys can accomplish. So I'm going to give each of you the last word. We're going to bring this in for landing. I really appreciate it. Kurtis, you're the oldest. Go.
No, I mean, listen, I think it starts at the top. Everything you just said, I mean, it starts with George. I'm not giving a shameless plug right now, but, the only time he really was hard on me was when I was mean to my brothers. And he said, listen, that's your best friend. It's going to be like that. And I think that message and that culture goes through the entire business that, these are your partners. They're not business partners. They're your friends and their family. And I think that's why we've been so successful and why Tyler and Kalvin have been able to, buy 3 yards before they eat breakfast every morning. So.
Oh, hold on. Quick story. You were in the back seat of a car. We're in Park City, Utah at an ISRI event. Your future wife was in her mother's belly. We're in the car.
Jesus.
Okay? We're driving. You two are in the back seat. Your nanny was with you. You wanted part of his candy bar, and she's speaking Spanish to you. She goes, oh, Kurtis, share with your brother. He shares with you. And you looked at her and you go, no mucho. I'll never forget it. You wouldn't know. You were too young, but I love it. All right, you're up. You're the next brother. Final words, buddy.
Look, we have the luxury of my dad and his siblings. I've always admired their working relationship, right? Obviously, they helped grow this business. They're the reason it is what it is today. And I've always admired the way that they work together, right? They don't always agree. They debate. They do it healthily. And
they usually disagree.
They actually usually disagree, right? But then at the end of the day, they go home and they go have dinner and everyone's happy, right? And we've, I think, tried hard to embody that as well. These guys are my best friends. They were the best men at my wedding. And everything that we do, again, we don't always agree. But we always are still, stride and stride. And so, anyways.
Right on, man. That's awesome. Kalvin, last word with you, buddy.
I don't think we've ever had like a real argument, to be honest. But anyways, we have not lived together in the same city for well over 10 or 12 years. And, when I moved home from Texas, Tyler was in Atlanta. By the time he moved home, I'd moved to Tucson. And starting next week, we'll all be in the same city again. And I just can't wait. So,
well, that depends. If we go international, your ass is being shipped to.
Oh,
you might be in Saskatchewan next month.
I've been the guy shipped to places for 6 years now, and I'm ready to go back to home
ready
base.
To come home?
Yep.
Well, I don't know if that's a healthy thing. The three Adams brothers getting together way too often.
Yeah,
Your wives are going to kind of go, let's barbecue with somebody else. Guys, seriously. Kurtis, Kalvin, Tyler, thank you for coming in here, having this conversation about what I believe is an incredible story, an incredible family. Obviously, the business is incredible, but to me, what's more important is the success of your family. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for another episode from ISRI 2023, A Pile of Scrap.
This has been a Sierra International Machinery original audio series. Thanks for listening. Please share this podcast and make sure to subscribe.